A very good evening and welcome to what will be the final instalment of Today at the Games 2022 here on Manx Radio. You join us live just outside on the outskirts really of the Alexander Stadium ahead of tonight's closing ceremony of the 2022 Commonwealth Games, which gets underway at 8 p.m. We do have to actually start tonight's programme with a little bit of sad news. The Commonwealth Games Association of the Isle of Man has confirmed today that its honorary president, Dursley Stott, OBE, has died. Mr. Stott stood down as president in 2006, having served the association over 9 Commonwealth Games in his 26 years as an official. Well, the Commonwealth Games Association of the Isle of Man has released a statement as well, and they say Dursley was passionate about the Commonwealth Games and was a highly regarded athlete in his own right, having represented the Isle of Man at the 1958 Games in Cardiff. He will be fondly remembered by everyone involved with the association, having remained a keen supporter of our activities since standing down as president, and our thoughts and condolences go out to his family. And we, the Manx Radio team here in Birmingham, would also like to extend our sympathies to Mr. Stott's family and friends at this very sad and difficult time. Well, as I mentioned, you join us at the place where this year's Commonwealth Games all began, at the Alexander Stadium, and it's where this huge international event will officially conclude this evening with the closing ceremony at 8 p.m. tonight. And I can now bring in my colleagues, once again William King and Elliot Turnbull. Very good evening to you both. Now, I do have to say, over the last couple of days, and we will get into that in the next few minutes, it has been absolutely glorious here in Birmingham weather-wise, hasn't it?
It has. We're sat on this patch of grass just outside the Alexander Stadium, and it's barely grass, to be honest. It's more like hay. It has been incredibly dry and warm today, we have to say.
Yeah, I'm just scared for your neck, William. We need to get some factor 50 out pretty quickly. It's a strong 27 degrees.
That's one thing we didn't consider, was it? Getting the factor 50 prepared, because it has been very hot over the last couple of days. Dare I say, a quintessential British summer in some ways, I've got to say. That's my opinion. I don't know what you think. Well, you know, you take this weather when it comes, don't you, here in the UK, in the Isle of Man and wherever else. Well, we are looking to take a look back, really, on what has been a very memorable 12 days for Team Isle of Man at the Commonwealth Games. But first off, let's have a look at the highlights of what was a busy final weekend for Team Isle of Man over the last 2 days on Saturday and Sunday. William, you have more details.
I do, thank you, Rob. So Saturday for the Isle of Man, it was all centred right here under the floodlights at the Alexander Stadium, where we had some athletics action. First up, we had David Malarkey in the men's 5,000 metres final. He set a new Manx record in the event of 13 minutes 43.92 seconds, beating his own record by 3.23 seconds.
It was really tough. We went through 3k ridiculously quick for what I would want to go for, but the plan was just to stay on for as long as I could, and then I was on my own for the last k, but it was just, at that point, it was just the crowd carrying my legs went at 3k, but the rest was just the crowd.
You could see that there. Obviously the front of the pack really did set a high pace early on. The fact that you were able to kind of keep that and manage your games still with that high standard being set, that's pretty good in itself, isn't it?
Yeah, so every year we're just trying to get as close to those top guys as we can, and each race that passes, if we're staying with them just that little bit longer, it's progress at the end of the day, and getting towards where we want to be in the future. So yeah, it's all positive.
Let's go back to your words a couple of days ago. You said Birmingham's a good place to set PBs.
Yeah.
You've done it again in Birmingham.
Yeah, I don't know, it just must be the air or something. It's a special city.
And what about the support from the Manx fans? They've been everywhere across this city over the past few weeks. Wherever you guys in the team are, it's been brilliant, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, even when you just walk around the city, someone will just tap you on the shoulder and go, "Oh, I'm from the Isle of Man," or "I know someone from the Isle of Man," and they just get chatting. So yeah, it's really cool for such a little island to have such a wide support base. It's pretty cool, really.
And David's right, it is pretty cool, and it is a special place, Birmingham. I'm going to feel like a bit of a dipstick getting on the plane at the end of all this. I would love to stay here forever, I have to say.
It's been a whirlwind, hasn't it? It's been quite the journey, really, hasn't it? It's been just so good to watch all this fantastic sport and all these fantastic venues.
Featuring the Isle of Man, the flag of it, the name of it, and the athletes of it. The Isle of Man at the highest level you can compete at for it in sport. It's been fantastic. So also last night, as well as David Malarkey smashing that Manx record by more than 3 seconds, we had Glenn Quayle in the men's pole vault final. He managed a maximum height of 4.95 metres, just 0.03 metres off his outdoor personal best, but he couldn't quite beat that height of 5.05 metres.
Well, you could see on his face, couldn't you, that he just absolutely loved the occasion, though, and to come that close, just within a whisker of your outdoor personal best. Just for clarity, his outright personal best is 5.03 metres, and that was done in an indoor venue. But to come that close and to be able to do that on such an occasion like this, when there's so many eyes on you, he really just absolutely loved it. And I love the little sign-off he did. I think, was it after his final jump? Was it a somersault or a backflip?
Front flip, yeah, he just sort of went head over his pole, which was great to see, but thankfully came out unscathed. And at the end you could hear him talking about the crowd, Rob, the occasion, and I'm sure going forward he's going to take a lot of great experiences from these games. It
was a perfectly executed somersault. You can tell he's got a gymnastics background, can't you?
Jesus.
If anyone's going to do it well, I think the Isle of Man's leading pole vaulter probably knows how to do a front flip, I would say. Although Tara Donnelly might give him a run for his money.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, then we were into Sunday, and all eyes for the Isle of Man were on the much anticipated all-day affair of the women's and men's cycling road races in Warwick. A really challenging day on a course which supported super aggressive riding from the start. First up was the women's race at 8 a.m. that morning, and the Manx ladies involved finished strongly. Sadly, Amelia Sharp and Anna Christian had to retire from the contest, but Lizzie Holden, Jessie Carriage and Becky Storey were in the bunch sprint right to the finish, placing 19th, 22nd and 26th respectively. I spoke to the three of them afterwards.
Yeah, it was fast and it was a bit chaotic. There was, people pulling off, and I was just behind Lizzie, and there was a couple of times where there was a few dodgy wheels, wasn't there? So it was just navigating around that. So I was just pleased to finish in the bunch, to be honest.
And Lizzie, yourself, 19th, part of that big group that made its way through as well. How did you find it out there? Because it really is a world-class field out there in a race like this.
Yeah, I mean, these girls are also winning all the World Tour races. So I think we can be happy with how we rode. We gave it a go with everything we had, constantly on the move, everyone. So that was really good. But yeah, you can't do anything when there's a big Aussie team like that just control the race. But I think we can be happy with everything.
Becky, we were following the progress obviously as you were all making your way round. At times that looked like a pretty demanding course out there.
Yeah, it really was. I certainly felt it anyway, that for sure, along that back long straight when you hit the wind and they put the power down. It was really survival of the fittest. But I think the main thing is I'm really proud of our result, and we had fun. I think we can say we had fun, and that's the main thing.
The future's bright, isn't it? With results like this and the fact that we have the teams in here, the future's bright for the Isle of Man in cycling.
Yeah, really bright. I mean, it's a very strong team. Even 4 years ago, the last games, just myself and Anna. So to have 3 extra girls here is really big, and I think Dot Tilbury keeps doing what she's doing. I think there'll be a lot more strong female cyclists coming through, and I'm excited for the next games.
Lizzie Holden, Becky Storey and Jessie Carriage there after the women's road race yesterday. I mean, Elliot, one of the things that we saw, particularly from the women's race to start with, just how aggressive and how fast the pace was set in that race.
Yeah, I mean, you saw them go around cycling as a pack throughout, and then that final sprint finish at the end. I mean, I think Lizzie described it as absolute carnage and incredibly fast race. But I mean, for her personally, what a great game. She came 5th in a time trial as well, and I don't know if she's been rewarded or it was planned before, but she'll be the Isle of Man's flag bearer tonight. So for herself, coming back from the Tour de France Femmes and having these 2 solid races, it's great to see that being rewarded here tonight.
Absolutely, and we were watching from the side really, weren't we? And it was just breathtaking to watch at the point that we had, wasn't it?
At the women's road race yesterday, phenomenal. I absolutely enjoyed yesterday thoroughly. It was my favourite day of the games. I won't mind about saying that. Really, honestly, the speed with which those people, and I think it was noticeable in the women's race, all stuck together throughout.
Yep.
It was chaotic the way the ladies described it. There was no breakaway, and really anyone could have won it right until the end. And that 19th, 22nd, and 26th placing is something to be proud of.
Yeah, I was going to say it's hard to sort of look at that result and maybe turn a face at it, because I mean you look at the time difference between first
less than a second with that
incredible
bunch at the front.
But yeah, so many bikes in such a tight space. It's incredible to see how they do it.
Fantastic effort. Well, after that at lunchtime was the men's race, and it was a tough afternoon to say the least for the 6-strong team of Matthew Bostock, Sam Brand, Mark Christian, Mark Cavendish, Tom Matsoni and Ben Swift. Swift finished highest of the group in 15th come the finish. Bostock retired from the race, and the rest of the group, including Cavendish, finished back in the peloton. Well, Cavendish and Swift gave their thoughts to us after the race on what was a challenging day.
Everyone would look at me. We want to get the other two in the front, Swifty and Bostock, and actually Swifty got in front. Bocky nearly made it, and I tell you, without his crash on the track, that nasty horrific crash on the track the other day, he'd made the front, and we'd have had two there in that group, and I think it'd be quite happy days for the Isle of Man.
So Ben, tough race out there today. Could you tell us what you thought about the race in general?
Yeah, it was really tough actually. Tried to play the card to wait, but I just didn't have the legs. I was cramping up a lot towards the end there, but yeah, it was a shame, but it was a tough race.
Because it seemed like there was, particularly between lap 4 and 5, it was a pretty aggressive breakaway. We saw it in the women's race before. It was a really aggressive start from there as well. That just seems a bit of a theme that ran throughout. Was that an extra challenge to the strategy that was out there today?
Yeah, we knew it was going to be aggressive. We were just trying to cover the bigger moves or the bigger nations, and yeah, once I got in that move, it was all right until it wasn't. I just started cramping up a lot and stuff. So yeah, a little bit, well, quite a lot disappointing really, because definitely wanted a lot more. Only a couple of weeks ago in the Giro, I had a lot better legs than this. So I think I'm carrying a lot of fatigue from that. I
mean, not the result you wanted. You've been pretty clear on that. But what are the kind of positives you can actually take away from this experience as a team?
I think we had a really, really strong team. We didn't miss anything. When that big group did go away, I heard Bocky was trying to come across, so I just sat on, trying to not do anything, And then I don't know if that kind of contributed, that I just kind of switched off a little bit too much or not, but it is what it is, that's bike racing.
Ben Swift and Mark Cavendish there, and I think they touched on it there, and we also spoke with Sam Brand and Mark Christian as well after the race. Those interviews now over at manxradio.com and Manx Radio's social media channels as well. Elliot, there was that overriding feeling of disappointment, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was a lot of frustrated cyclists, and I think you could see that maybe frustrated with the way the race panned out. A lot of the riders were very aware of Team Isle of Man's danger on the bike, and they set off and really neutralised Mark Cavendish throughout. There was a moment where he missed a break. Matty Bostock could have come through to help support him. That didn't quite happen. I think he was suffering from heat exhaustion after his crash. Obviously, in the velodrome last Sunday, he was back riding out there, found it quite tough. And all in all, it is a perhaps frustrating afternoon, but other nations saw the Isle of Man's threat and they neutralised it well.
They did, and William, I think Cav said it pretty well as well, for Matty Bostock out there was running really well, and obviously had that really unfortunate series of events last weekend with that really nasty crash in the track event, and Cav said, had he had the chance to be fully fit and had that unfortunate situation not happened, it could have been a very different story.
And that's the way it goes with sports sometimes. You can plan however much you can plan. For a road race, clearly they went in with something of a plan. The Matthew Bostock situation, having had that crash, may have had an impact on that. His recovery clearly to get onto the road was remarkable, commended by the commentators throughout. And actually the commentators, the ones we could hear at the start-finish line and the ones on the BBC, were constantly saying how great the teamwork was from Team Isle of Man. And clearly the other nations knew that, as Elliot said, and they closed in on it.
Particularly in those early stages as well, because they really started to send a statement. Well, yeah, it was a tricky day then for the cycling teams in Warwick, but Sunday wasn't over. The action turned back to the Alexander Stadium. Elliot, you have more details on that.
Well, yeah, it was a quick nip from Warwick down to Walsall, where we are now, the Alexander Stadium. And yet we had the women's 5,000 metre final. There were two Manx athletes in one heat, Sarah Aston and Rachel Franklin. Sarah finished in 14th place, and she definitely did enjoy herself out there.
I don't know what time I ran. I'm really praying it was a PB, but I mean, if not, I'd be very obviously happy if it was, but also a bit lucky because that race I was kind of dragging people around. And when I ran my old PB, or hopefully my old PB, I was sitting on people the whole way around, which helped so much.
Well, I can give you time in just a second if you want it.
Yeah, okay.
Here we are. Here's a bit of tension for you. 15:39.54.
It could literally be matching. My old one was 15:39 point something, so it could be.
.03. So there's virtually nothing in it as well. You're right on, obviously, what your best performance has been in this. That must be pretty encouraging, though.
Yeah, it is, because I just know I've got a faster one in me, so a little bit frustrated that I just didn't have anyone in my area in front of me, but I couldn't have done any more than that tonight, and I'm really happy with how I ran it. And yeah, it was just so much fun, honestly. Like, I wasn't even thinking about how much pain I was in. I was just like, I don't really know. I was just like amazed by everything, the whole surroundings. Yeah, it's crazy.
That's what so many people have said. Obviously, this stadium, this crowd, this occasion, it just kind of gets you through when maybe you're feeling frustrated or maybe a little more tired. Those feelings start to sort of ebb away. And obviously, because the games only come round once every several years, it allows you to just enjoy it in some ways. And of course, push your own boundaries, I guess it were.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, being around these girls is just such a big, amazing opportunity, like to run quick and to just get in these big races. But a little bit frustrated that I didn't have the kick in the last 100. Like, 2 girls went past me. I was like, damn it. But it was really good fun.
Looking back on this performance, what do you think's next for you in the kind of short to medium term?
Yeah, I don't know. I would like to get in another quick 5k if possible, but if not, I just want to have fun as well. Just do some 3k, maybe another 3k, maybe a 15 even. Yeah, just drop down the distance and just have fun now.
It was amazing. Like, I tried not to make myself get overwhelmed. So when I was warming up, I kept glancing. There was like little gaps in the warm-up track to glance into the stadium, and my coach and my boyfriend said, don't let it overwhelm you, like, enjoy it. You've earned to be on the stage with everyone else, so just try to really take it all in, really enjoy it. And it was amazing. The crowd was unbelievable.
These games, for whatever targets people are aiming for, they're such a learning curve, aren't they? They only come around once every so often, so it is a chance maybe just to kind of build on what you've done already going forward.
Yeah, so I've been aiming for the Commonwealth Games since 2014, so it's been quite a long slog with lots of injuries, setbacks, but I've just kept digging in, and I was just so happy to get the call up in May, and then just get my head down.
Rachel Franklin there, she said she's been waiting since 2014 for this moment. She came 19th, and for Aston it was a very good run, just 0.51 seconds off her PB. There was also another event going on. It was the javelin. Joe Harris had a frustrating evening. He recorded a distance of 67.91 metres. Speaking to us later, he was clearly annoyed, but he did say form is temporary and class is permanent, and I'm sure that he will be back. And to sum up really from the athletics, obviously we've had great success in the swimming, a lot of PBs. I must say David Malarkey's personal best was the highlight in there, but it's a shame we were in there late last night and the track's been completely taken away. The lovely blue track, it's gone. They're ready for the closing ceremony. There was a man with a tiny little paintbrush going around, putting on the final touches. The attention to detail is amazing, so I can't wait to see the ceremony.
Indeed, and you better get your Turai Luraye on, because I can tell you Dexy's Midnight Runners are performing tonight at the closing ceremony, and nice. Beverly Knight as well, so it's an all-star cast.
Absolutely.
Including Lizzie Holden flying the Isle of Man flag, as we've already said. Very much looking forward to that. Well, guys, I think we've reached the stage in the week. Let's have a little look back. Rob, what would you say your highlight has been this week?
I think there were 2 really key moments. I mean, I don't like to pick out anything particularly of Team Isle of Man because so much effort and so much graft has gone into it, but there were 2 very key events, I feel, at the NEC over the games, and one of those was in the women's boxing, and Jade Burden being there as well, putting a sterling performance against an absolutely fantastic opponent in England's Gemma Richardson, the women's lightweight quarterfinals. It was what Jade said afterwards as well. This was such a crucial point for Manx boxing, in the fact to be the first female boxer to come to these games as well, put on a performance like that and really enjoy the occasion as well, and the fact that it can be an inspiration. She hopes to be an inspiration to young girls on the Isle of Man, that if they want to get in the gym, go right ahead and do it. The dream is theirs and yours to take as well. And also on the other side of it as well, in the para-powerlifting as well, of course, we had Kim Dean in there, the island's first ever para-athlete at a Commonwealth Games. That is a huge thing for the Isle of Man, to have someone in that particular category and celebrate Paralympic sport at these games. She enjoyed the occasion and she hopes there are more to come after her as well. Really important moment.
Thanks very much, Rob. I think both of those speak volumes definitely for sport on the Isle of Man. Elliot, what about you?
Yeah, two absolute trailblazers there. Probably for me, it speaks of Team Isle of Man's unity. We have seen real friendship throughout, and it will be Jessica Lee's round of 16 badminton. She was playing Scotland's Kirsty Gilmore, and there was a good 8 to 10 Manx athletes with her. Jade Burden, again, as you said, Bob, she was so loud throughout, going, "Come on, Jess!" She was the biggest cheerleader there was, and it was just great to see that we're here. We're, representing under the same flag. It is really one team, and these real friendships have grown throughout the games, and it was brilliant. William?
And for me, it's something I think we should say all the athletes have done us so proud as an island. I'm sure everybody will agree with
100%.
that. For me, it was actually a moment which showed the togetherness of the Commonwealth and the Commonwealth Games, particularly in the aquatics. I think it was Laura Kinley's second semi-final, where we saw the Team Bahamas, the Bahamas swimmers, sat with the Isle of Man swimmers, and they were all together. The Bahamas athletes were flying the Isle of Man flag, waving that, the islands working together. So for me, that was something that really summed it up. But as I say, I've had a great Games.
100% agree. There's been community spirit, there's been grit, there's been determination right throughout.
Indeed there has. Well, I think, guys, it's time for us to draw our coverage to a close. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for choosing Manx Radio. We have absolutely loved bringing you the 2022 Commonwealth Games. Well, we should really give the final words to the people this has all been about. The athletes from Team Isle of Man. Oh, and Jamelia.
It does feel really good to hopefully be able to inspire that kind of next generation.
We've known each other for quite a while, and at the end of the day, we're mates swimming together. We love swimming, all of us. So
the crowd, know my parents were there. I just wanted to swim my absolute best, and it was so happy with it. Yeah.
Getting the record this morning was way up there, and like my highlights of my swimming career, and then just smashing it again. That's amazing.
Big thanks to everyone at home and everyone that's bought tickets to come here. It's amazing.
It's really inspiring and really motivational. Yeah, I want to race them and be like them.
People think you're going to be a little bit lower down than you should be. It's news to me. I'm the 20th, and I'm super happy with, with where I've come.
Just to be in the company that we're in as a few Olympic champions in our race, it's been a great opportunity, and the support has been immense from the Isle of Man.
I'm delighted to be through to tomorrow's all-around final. Despite having a not so great competition today, I'm glad it's enough to progress through. I'm really excited to get the Isle of Man's best ever finish and all-around final.
there was no way I was not finishing, so it was just trying to take each mile as it came.
Support for everybody, even us at the back, was just brilliant.
I couldn't have done any more than that tonight, and I'm really happy with how I ran it.
The experience and the atmosphere here today has just been amazing.
I've been aiming for the Commonwealth Games since 2014, so it's been quite a long slog.
It's definitely made me more hungry for the future, and 2026 hopefully we can come and compete a bit more with the top guys and be right up there.
Yeah, the legs seem to be pretty good. It's just the glutes are a bit on fire because I'm not used to riding the tartan bike, but yeah, it was a good day.
When I do beat people that are a bit older and stuff like that, it does make me feel a bit better and happier with my ride.
If you'd said 4 years later I'd be here, I would have politely told you that you were deluded, but here we are.
We can be happy with how we rode. Yeah, I'm really proud of our result, and we had fun.
These are the races you dream of. These are the guys you want to ride with.
The team I've had here has been amazing. To have Cav on board as well. It's so great for all us lot to be a part of a team with him.
We want to get the other two in the front, Swifty and Bostock. Without his crash on the track, that nasty horrific crash on the track the other day, he made the front.
Is what it is, that's bike racing.
I've been out the ring for 7 years, so to come back to this now, I would have bit your hand off like you said that to me this time last year.
Sport is for everyone. You've seen me lift weights. If you've got an athlete with a disability, whether you're a wheelchair user, you're an amputee, you're short of stature like myself, get out there, try it, show the world how strong you are.
Last 16 of the Commonwealth Games is a great thing for the Isle of Man. So, yeah.
I'm just proud to be able to be the first woman to box at this. And it's a pathway for other young women in the gym as well, and I hope I know I didn't win today, but let's hope I can obviously inspire them to make this step as well.